Oh, good. That's not supposed to be. Sharice. I'll just go with it. Welcome to part 49 of my Shut Your Mouth Let's Play, where I get distracted by things that should not matter at all to anyone watching this. Anyway, I kind of missed the title card matchup there, but we know I'm facing Big Valbowski in this matchup, and Rhino is in the other semifinal matchup. I missed who the other guy was, but we will see that title card again a few times here over the course of the part, because we are going through... I was doing so well talking in part 48 too. All of a sudden I'm stumbling over everything. Anyway, we've met William Regal here before, and I said I wanted some brass knuckles, and then he knocked me out. So I decided to just come be a bother to him, and I think he also might knock me out again. Or maybe he won't. Anyway, we're going to get into the semifinal matchup here with Val, which, again, isn't a very long matchup at all. I mean, this part's not too long either. It's a little bit longer than the last one. But hey, I am determined to make it to that finals. To that final matchup, I should say. And, I know I've already spoiled that I'm not going to be winning it, but it took a bit of effort to lose that match, because I'm so much higher than these guys. And I think that's why their superstar ratings will raise so much and mine will lower so much, because I let the guy get the win. Anyway, I haven't really talked about these guys too much. I think I might have talked about Goldust a bit already, but Val Venus, the Big Valbowski, he came back with this name in 2002 very briefly. Otherwise, I think the Big Valbowski was just a nickname of his. And I don't know, maybe they were trying to play off the Big Lebowski. Was that out at the time? I think it was out around that time. I don't know why they did it, but eventually he got injured again. Then he came back as Val Venus. Well, I don't even know if he came back as Val Venus. I think that was around the time he came back as Sean Morley, which is his real name, and he became like a commissioner or something. The guy had a pretty long career in the WWE, though. He was around till, I don't know, I think it was 2006 or 2007, and he had been in the company at that point. 10 years, I guess I'd say. He was never a favorite of mine. I never really liked Val. I didn't hate him, but he was never one of my favorite guys. He was always just kind of there. He didn't really do anything of note. I mean, yeah, he was an Intercontinental Champion at one point, but he was Intercontinental Champion once. A lot of people have been Intercontinental Champion and nothing ever came of it. Look at Ahmed Johnson. Look at Ezekiel Jackson. I should not be using the giant black guys as my only examples here. Bad thing was my next one was going to be Shelton Benjamin, who is also black. Drew McIntyre, that's a good one. He is definitely not black. We're going to move along here before I say something really bad. So I guess anyone who's really watched this channel, and I mean like the channel, not just the videos, the wrestling games or any of my other games, if you watch my channel, you know I do music videos too, and I've already said how I'm going to start doing a couple of lesson videos. I've also been working out a couple songs that I might want to do next. I'm not sure when I might get to them. I want to do the lesson videos first before I do any new guitar songs. I've definitely started to find a better guitar tone that is going to come through better on my camera. It's still not the best, and that's just because my camera's a piece of shit for video recording anyway. I don't have a proper video camera. I use a digital photo camera that has video capabilities. I mean, it would be nice if I had a dedicated video camera, but that costs a lot of money, and I don't really want to spend that lot of money. Especially when there's other things that I'd rather be spending it on. I mean, I'm definitely a gamer, and I definitely have a lot of games that I want to be spending it on. I bought the new WWE game not too long ago, I've already said that. I have pre-ordered Dragon Ball Xenoverse because that is the first Dragon Ball Z game in a long time that I've really been interested in. I've got it on PC, by the way, so if anyone on PC wants to get that and play it with me, I will gladly play it. It's got co-op. Co-op that works kind of like Monster Hunter. But anyway, I've also pre-ordered Arkham Knight, which I cannot wait for. Oh, I'm so excited for Arkham Knight. Oh, it looks like Chris Benoit is in the next match there. But yeah, back to Batman Arkham Knight. I love the Arkham games, except Origins. Origins was only okay, but Arkham Asylum was really good. Arkham City was great. I think Arkham City is my favorite game from the last 5 years, I will say. The only other game that comes close for that to me is Uncharted 2. FTL Faster Than Light comes pretty close too, though. And I'll get back to that in a second here, but even though my match came on first, we already know the winner of the finals, and it's going to be me and Rhino. And obviously that means Rhino's going to win, which I don't mind. I mean, if I got the chance to, I was going to play his title match and let him win the WWE title, but on that pay-per-view, my match comes first, and of course, if your match comes first, you can't play any of the matches that come after it. Kind of weird design, but at the same time, it also makes sense, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, I love the Arkham games. Asylum was great, City was even better. Even though at first I wasn't too keen on City, I really grew to like it a lot better. It just plays better, it has so much more to do while also not falling into the trap that a lot of open world games have, where you're just doing repetitive side missions that feel boring, and it feels like the world is big, but empty. And that's one of the problems that Arkham Origins had. The world was big, it was bigger than Arkham City's world, but it felt so lifeless and empty, and that's part of the reason I don't like a lot of open world games, because, yeah, you can go anywhere, you can do anything, but there's nothing to do. And it's boring. There's nothing going on. That's why I can't play these Grand Theft Auto games. I think I've already said why I don't mind LA Noire, and that's because LA Noire is so directed and there's not a whole lot of side missions that you have to do. Alright, so I found HBK here, who is part of the NWO, of course. Nothing ever comes of that because Shawn Michaels doesn't have his wrestling gear in this game. You can't play as him, you can't fight against him. If he ever has a match on a pay-per-view card that's before yours, you can't play it. But this, of course, was when Shawn Michaels was first starting to return to wrestling. And I believe at the time, I don't think he was going to ever make a full-time return. I think he thought he was just going to return and nothing would come of it. That matchup there between the APA and the Un-Americans, I never quite got that match. It just kind of happened for some reason, and there was no tag team titles involved, there's no other title match that could have gone on in its place. So instead, we have me taking on Rhino here. Rhino, who actually just recently returned to the WWE, he's working on the NXT brand, which is kind of a neat idea. I mean, Rhino was never a huge name in the WWE, he didn't go too far. So that's why he works on NXT, because he's definitely a veteran. He's been wrestling for over 10 years now. He's been wrestling since ECW was around. The guy is, I don't know, is he 40 years old? He was younger than I thought he was, I will say that. I think he's only just turned 40 or something. But he's also a veteran, and he works well, and he would work well in a developmental company like that to help the new guys get along, because they can't... Someone else said this, and I forget where, but if the new guys just face the new guys, they're never going to get ready for the veterans on the main roster. That's why it's good to have guys like Rhino come back to do that, to help them along. Brian Kendrick just returned not too long ago too, and I love Brian Kendrick. He's one of my favorite guys ever. I used to be a huge fan of Paul London too, but then Paul London started to really show his true colors as a paranoid and entitled little prick, and I just cannot stand the guy anymore. He's a great wrestler, but he's such a dickhead of a person that I can't stand him. He makes CM Punk look like a good person, and that's saying a lot. Not gonna lie there, but after that pin attempt that got to 2, I was a little scared that I was gonna win in like 10 seconds. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to win this King of the Ring match. Because there's a lot of times where I go into a pin combination like that. A lot of my moves have that. And I also tried to stay away from the submissions, because I knew that if I hit a submission while Rhino was injured, or after I just hit a finisher or something, then we would have a problem. Anyway, at least at first this match comes off as looking competitive. Later on, though, it looks like I'm just kind of standing around waiting for Rhino to grab me or something, which was what I was doing, but I was trying to have it not come off like that. It works in the end. I don't win this match. Rhino does. And there's a couple of really good moments where he hits me with the gore, which is always fun to see. The gore, of course, being Rhino's finishing move. It's a spear. That's all it is. It's a running spear, but it's called the gore because he's a Rhino. And not many people did a spear better than Rhino. There was Goldberg, and that is it. That is literally it. I don't mind Edge doing the spear either. I hate Christians. Reigns' is okay. Most of the time it's okay. There's been a couple of times that I just can't really stand watching Reigns do the spear, though. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Big Show's isn't bad either. I mean, for a guy who's over 400 pounds, who's 7 feet tall, who's a giant, he is a literal giant, the guy does a pretty awesome spear. Never liked Batista's, though. Batista's spear kind of sucks. Bobby Lashley's, too. As you can see, I just kind of walked right into that gore, and I don't think I was even pressing any buttons, and I kicked out, which was... I don't get why that happened. That was stupid. If I'm not pressing buttons, I shouldn't kick out of any pin. The pin system in this game sucks. The pin system in every game before, I think it was Smackdown vs. Raw 2009 or 2010, sucks. I hate the idea of button mashing to get pins, because that means that if you take too much damage, you have no chance. I like the method that they have now, which uses a sliding bar. You hold X, and your bar moves up. You have to wait until it gets into a certain green area of the bar, and then you release it, and then you break out of the pin. Now that green area gets smaller depending on how much damage you've taken, and the bar that you move moves faster depending on how much damage you've taken. That is a good way to do it. It's all about timing. It's all about being fair. You have a chance, even if you've taken like 3 FUs from John Cena, you have a chance to kick out. You don't have a great chance, but you have that chance. Whereas here, if you've taken 2 finishers and you're mashing buttons like nobody's business, even if you have a turbo controller, it's just not going to work. Which is bad. I don't like that. Now, I would have loved to do a finisher here, just because I would hope that Rhino would reverse it, but because both my finishers are submission moves, he probably would have not reversed it and tapped out. I think I might have kicked out of that pin from the frog splash. I think I wanted him to beat me with the gore. And we started to get close to it. I think I was hoping for him to reverse that into a gore there. Yeah, you can kind of see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to run into him and get him to hit me with the gore. But obviously it's not working too well. It does kind of make for a decent match. There are some... I mean, there were definitely points where it wasn't looking too good. It looked like I was just trying to wait for him to hit me. But there are times where it does look good here. It looks like we're really putting on a good classic match. It's like we're really fighting for that King of the Ring spot. Anyway, and of course I'm the heel. I'm the asshole here. And there. That was great. I loved how he got that gore. He just rolled to his feet and ran and tackled me down. He just killed me. That's it. It's done. Rhino wins. He is the King of the Ring. I am out. I cannot be mad about that. I've gone on about those times before. This is just another one to add to the list. We got Austin flipping me off and giving me the stunner. We got me running into Edge, who's spearing me around the corner. And now we got this one where Rhino just gets up and kills me with the gore. So he is King of the Ring. I am dead. And That's it for the month of June. The King of the Ring is over, and we will be coming back with the month of July and the Vengeance pay-per-view, where we get a nice little unique but short story before we start to get into a really big overarching story that'll take a few months to go through, just like last year. But I will see you guys for part 50 when that comes.